Church of the earth, the overall boss. He said that not even a strand of this hair of yours can be removed unless he has given permission. That is who he is. And if today your eyes can see the last day of 2022, what you do with it will determine if he will let your eyes see the last day of 2023. Dear Enel Baye, and the church said, will cry by 2023 31st. I'm telling you. Listen, there are some of you who feel that you didn't get a job, so God did nothing. There are some people who feel that you didn't marry, so God did nothing. Somebody got married, 3 months time the spouse died. So the year produced a widow somewhere. I'm not saying that if something of that sort happened to you is bad or anything, but I'm just telling you that for everything you went through, it is the display of God's wisdom. You are not a Superman. You are only a definition of God's manifold wisdom. And sometimes when God's manifold wisdom is being translated on earth, some of them appear not to be unpleasant. Some appear to be very unpleasant. He is taking the children of Israel to captivity in Babylon for 70 years. He said, I know the thoughts I have for you. It's not thought of evil, but thought of good, to take you to an expected end. But in the midst of that good thought was a certain Daniel who will be castrated and never have children and never will be able to marry. A certain Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego who will be taken to the king's palace, and everybody that is taken to the king's palace is castrated. Is this a good thought? Is 70 years bondage under a man like Nebuchadnezzar who will remove your eyes? He was so terrible. So terrible. The empire, the Babylonian empire was so terrible that when God sent Jonah to Nineveh, he didn't understand why he should go, because is this not the capital of Babylon? That wicked kings and the dangerous evil guys, why should I go and preach to them? Have you forgotten what they've done to us? Removing the eyes of our kings, killing people anyhow. But in the midst of all that, God said, I know the thoughts. If Israel don't go there and Daniel don't get castrated, Nebuchadnezzar will not be turned into an animal to see my power. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will not enter into fire to let the whole world know there is a God that can quench the fears of fire. He said, so even if you pass through a problem in 2022, I'm here to tell you that when you hear that word, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. For those he foreknew, he predestined to conform to the image of his son. He foreknew you. The reason why he said all things are working together for your good is that he said he foresaw you. So for those he predestined, that's why you are not about to be destined. You carry your destiny before you. And the Bible said those he foreknew, he predestined to conform to the image of his son. So you carry a destiny to look like Jesus here on earth. Then he said those he predestined, he called. That means that before he called you, he has predestined you, but you were still struggling in life. Some ended up in other religions. Some ended up as armed robbers, and he was still watching you and very patient because he knows he has predestined. I'm telling you why he says all things work together. So today you are an armed robber, but it's working together because in the course of time he has predestined you, so he will call you. In the time he wants to start working out your destiny, then he calls you. That is why he looked at his disciples and said, other sheep I have that are not in this fold. So in reality we call them prostitutes, but he calls them his sheep. We call them robbers, but he calls them his sheep. I will now bring spiritual. But in the heavenly places, when God is counting his people, he does not start and end in the church. He goes to the streets. There are some people who have never mentioned the name of Jesus, but he still calls them his sheep. He still calls them his sheep because in the midst of time he will call them. To them he predestined, he called. To them he called. The Bible said he justifies. Romans chapter 8 verse number 30. He justifies. Do you know why he justifies? Because by the time he calls you, you have messed up yourself. He will call you out of something. Listen, God is not looking for perfect vessels. He's looking for available vessels. So God knows how to call you, and when he calls you, he justifies you. Justification means that he declares that there is no charge. He cleanses you of all charges. So when the devil comes and says, is this not the thief? He tells him that he's justified. He is justified for stealing because Jesus died for him. My God. And the Bible says that whom he justified, he glorified. He glorifies for your good. Amen. The dismissal. If we don't dismiss you, he can't call you into another profession. All things are working together. The sicknesses, all things are working together. And I am told Joseph, come to your prime minister, all things are working together. Say Israel and conquer Sumu or Babylon. Naka Daniel Emeye governor. All things are working together. Nanka Amapo Muse me pese me ko ha Damascus. Asafo mana. Kawon shia Yesu. All things are working together. Nanka Peter kochi fish no nya fisher. Ka Yesu be duru ye nka boat ni nye free. Now so Bible so or fish or try and dreaming na. And he had it because God was preparing the boat as a pulpit for Jesus. The pulpit of Jesus cannot be occupied. Enti me sure say Ebrana Peter na musuo ni so wonya fish osi die kure ne de musuo be. Enye musuo. Free say ade na pese o chi fish gumu. Nyankopon pese obegina. Nyanka Nyankopon ne fish de. Nanka me chusu Nyankopon. I'm only bringing you to a point that you understand that this year has been good. Nanka urade anye de oyema ona. Enanka obehunu se ne obonsam city. Enanka obehunu ye kase wiase edin a. Ka obehunu se ne city. Urade twi ne hu wo Genesis chapter 3. Urade pam Adam o twi ne hu kakra bi Adam ti na ni na ne baba ko akumbako. Urade wo wonche ya hu hunu de oyema wo. O twi ne hu kakra bi a na obehunu de ebeto. O urade twi ne hu kakra bi Adam hu ni mabema mienu na ba ko akumbako. Na Jesus ye fasa wo foforo. Intika urade twi ne hu afro hu kakra bi afi 2022 ka bibi be fa wani so. Nenka won't na sing a card your wokan. Papa yebi. Yes. Why yebi? Many are the things that he did, and many are the things that he is doing that we don't know. Can you openly say that all things have worked together for my good.
All things have worked together for my good.
And then you continue by saying what?
Thank you, Jesus.